Have you ever thought about what secrets lie behind Hagrid's kind-hearted nature? What if his past was far more tragic and mysterious than you imagined? In today's video, you will find out the truth about the most beloved professor in Harry Potter. Rubeus Hagrid is one of the most endearing characters in the wizarding world, a gentle giant, fiercely loyal, and always willing to help, even at his own risk. He cares deeply for magical creatures and stands by Harry and his friends through thick and thin. But despite his big heart, he has always been an outcast, looked down upon by some wizards, excluded from society, carrying the weight of past accusations. Why did Hagrid live this way? What made him different? Hagrid's father was a kind and loving wizard, though his name remains a mystery. He raised his son with warmth, teaching him all he could. But Hagrid's mother? That's where things take a darker turn. Her name was Fridwulfa, a giantess. Unlike his father, she had no interest in raising a child. When Hagrid was just 3, she abandoned the family, disappearing without a trace. His father did his best to care for him, but fate was cruel. At only 12, Hagrid lost his father, leaving him an orphan. Who took care of him after that? No one really knows. One thing is clear: he learned to survive on his own from a young age. Despite his tragic past, Hagrid found a home at Hogwarts, placed in Gryffindor House. He was 2 years younger than Tom Riddle, the boy who would become Lord Voldemort. Even then, Hagrid had a deep love for magical creatures, even the dangerous ones. And that love became his downfall. When the Chamber of Secrets was opened, Tom Riddle needed a scapegoat. He accused Hagrid of the attack, claiming that his pet acromantula, Aragog, was the monster behind it all. The Ministry of Magic didn't need much convincing. Despite the lack of real evidence, they expelled Hagrid from Hogwarts. His wand was snapped, his education was over, his future stolen. The only person who stood by him, Albus Dumbledore. He fought to let Hagrid stay at Hogwarts as gamekeeper, but that didn't erase the stigma. For years, Hagrid lived under the weight of false accusations, unable to practice magic freely. Years later, thanks to Harry Potter and his friends, the truth finally came to light. Hagrid was cleared of all charges, and for the first time in his life, he was given a true place of honor. He became a professor of care of magical creatures, a job he was born for. Under Dumbledore's protection, life at Hogwarts was good, but with the arrival of Dolores Umbridge, everything changed. She saw Hagrid as a threat. His lessons were sabotaged, his presence questioned. And when Severus Snape became headmaster, Hagrid was once again forced into hiding. No matter how much he gave, the world never fully accepted him. Hagrid was more than a teacher, he was a warrior. From the First Wizarding War to the rise of Voldemort, he remained fiercely loyal to Dumbledore. He risked his life recruiting giants to fight against the Dark Lord, though the mission ended in disaster. When Hogwarts became a battleground, Hagrid stood on the front lines. He fought alongside students, professors, and members of the Order of the Phoenix. Even when Voldemort himself used him to carry Harry's lifeless body, Hagrid never lost faith. And when the dust settled, he was still standing. No one knows for sure what happened after the war, but one thing is certain: Hagrid never left Hogwarts. He continued teaching, caring for magical creatures, and keeping the school's deepest secrets. And love? There was one person who could match his strength and heart. Madame Olympe Maxime, the half-giantess from Beauxbatons. Did they stay together? It's possible. After all, if anyone deserved happiness, it was Hagrid, a tragic hero, a gentle giant, a man who never gave up, even when the world turned against him. That is the true story of Rubeus Hagrid. Hagrid's past is a puzzle filled with gaps and mysteries. His towering presence, kind heart, and unwavering loyalty to Dumbledore make him one of the most intriguing figures at Hogwarts. But what do we really know about his life before Harry? The books reveal only glimpses: his expulsion, his job as gamekeeper, his deep love for magical creatures. Yet between these facts lies a life largely unaccounted for, a life that may hold secrets more surprising than we imagine. It all began in 1943 when young Rubeus Hagrid was accused of opening the Chamber of Secrets. He was only 13, barely understanding the full weight of the accusations. Tom Riddle, cunning and ruthless, framed him for keeping a monster. "He's done it before," Riddle told Dumbledore, eyes cold and calculating, "kept dangerous creatures." Hagrid was expelled, his wand broken, his future shattered. But Dumbledore intervened. He gave Hagrid a place at Hogwarts as the gamekeeper, and for years that was the only part of the story anyone cared to remember. But what happened in the years that followed? What did Hagrid do between his expulsion and the moment he first brought baby Harry to the Dursleys? The answer may lie with one of the most secretive groups in the wizarding world, the Order of the Phoenix. Could Hagrid have been involved in the fight against Grindelwald? We know Dumbledore was deeply engaged in that battle. We also know that Hagrid was fiercely loyal to him, and yet no records place him directly in those conflicts. Perhaps like many things about Hagrid, this part of his past remains hidden beneath layers of secrecy. Some whispers suggest he was more than just a groundskeeper. During Voldemort's first rise to power, Hagrid's strength and connections to magical creatures would have made him an asset. Giants, acromantulas, hippogriffs, he had a bond with them all. Could Dumbledore have used that? There are accounts of certain creatures joining the war effort. "Giants," Hagrid once said, "they're misunderstood, but powerful they are." He spoke with the certainty of someone who knew them personally, someone who had seen them fight. There is another shadow in Hagrid's past, his mother. Fridwulfa, a giantess, abandoned him when he was young. Yet, could she have played a role in wizarding conflicts? Giants were notorious for siding with Voldemort. Was Hagrid ever forced to confront his own bloodline? He never spoke of her much. "She weren't interested in us," he told Madame Maxime. But silence often hides pain. What if Fridwulfa's choices had put Hagrid in danger? What if he had to prove his loyalty to Dumbledore by rejecting the path of his own kin? Then there is the question of love. Did Hagrid ever have someone close to him? A friend? A lover? The books show a brief attempt at romance with Madame Maxime, but before that, nothing. Did he ever experience the heartbreak of losing someone in the war? His deep sorrow at Harry's supposed death in the Forbidden Forest suggests he knew loss intimately. "Harry, no, what's he done to you?" His voice broke. Perhaps it was not the first time he had held someone he loved, thinking they were gone. Even his time as a student at Hogwarts remains unclear. The Marauders, Snape, even Voldemort, each generation left its mark. But who were Hagrid's friends? Who stood by him when he was expelled? We know Aragog remained loyal, but what of people? Dumbledore trusted him, but was there anyone else? Did Hagrid keep in touch with former classmates? Or did he spend years in quiet solitude, tending to creatures while the wizarding world waged its battles? One of the biggest mysteries is his wand, snapped in half, supposedly beyond repair. And yet Hagrid performed magic. His pink umbrella, awkward in his large hands, hummed with hidden power. "You're a wizard, Harry!" With a flick, sparks flew, a secret Dumbledore never explained. Was Hagrid ever officially trained in magic again? Did he learn spells in secret? If Dumbledore could break the rules for Harry, he surely could have done the same for his most loyal friend. We often see Hagrid as a simple, straightforward man. But perhaps that is only what he wants people to believe. Beneath the rough exterior lies a past filled with untold stories, secrets he never shared, moments he chose to keep hidden. Hagrid was more than just a keeper of keys and grounds. He was a keeper of secrets too. And maybe, just maybe, some of them are still waiting to be uncovered.